Shabbat Shalom, awesome tribes of Israel everywhere in the world. Welcome to the room. This is Rabbi Simon Altak. Well, today is going to be a very important day in your lives. It's going to be one of those days where you're going to have a paradigm shift and your lives are going to change for the better. So, be prepared. You may have to listen to this 2-3 times after it's been recorded and put out, because you will need this information. This will change your lives radically. You and your family's lives will never be the same again after this session. So I do this with great excitement, and also of course as I'm here calling in the gate to guide you so you can have well-being with you, your families, and success in your lives. So let's begin. Let's first do our little joke before we go into the nitty-gritty. Our Parsha today is going to be Parsha's Vayetchanan, which is in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 3. But before I go there, let me start the little session of laugh therapy. A priest and a rabbi were eating together when the priest started to tease the rabbi. "Wow, this ham is really good," he said, licking his lips. "I know it's against your religion, but when are you going to break down and finally have some?" After a moment's thought, the rabbi responds to the priest with a smile, "At your wedding." So going forward, we're going to look at something very, very important. But before I do, I want to have a quick read of the Parsha Vayetchanan. I want to go there and I want to have a little perusal of that Parsha to give you a little flavor of where we are with Israel in this journey that the God of Israel is taking us from, of course, from Egypt and bringing us to our senses and telling us where we need to be in our life. A lot of people are directionless today, and I think this Parsha will speak to those kind of people that are directionless. You need to have a direction in life, and when you have a direction in life, things will be much, much different to where they are now. The Parsha Vayetchanan, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 3 starts at verse 23, and it says, "And I besought Yahweh at that time, saying, O Adonai Yahweh, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your mighty hand. For what else is there in the Shemaim, in the heavens or in the earth, that can do according to your works and according to your strength? I beseech you, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain and Lebanon." But Yahweh was angry with me for your sakes, and would not listen to me. And Yahweh said to me, "Enough of this. Speak no more to me of this matter. Get up into the top of Pisgah, and take a good look westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward. For you will not be allowed to go over the Jordan. But charge Yehoshua, and encourage him, and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which you shall see." So we abode in the valley over against Beth Peor. Now here, it's not like some, lowly guy speaking about a conversation that he had with God. This is Moses speaking, the very leader that God had chosen out of the Levi tribe that was to go over to Israel with the tribes. But because he had made some human mistakes, and they were held against him, and God had said that you are not allowed to go into the land, but you can go up on a mountain and you can have a look in all directions. That is north, west, south, east. And God gives a different directions here of the compass, and says that you can look, but don't talk about this anymore. And then he says, charge, in other words, command Yehoshua, your student. Yehoshua, the son of Nun, is called Joshua in the English language. Command Joshua, the son of Nun, and encourage him and strengthen him. You see, at this point, when we read this text with a set of eyes that don't show us what is going on, it almost looks like basic plain Jane text. But this is not basic plain Jane. This man was very knowledgeable. This man was charged by God, commanded by God, and instructed by God. So he had a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and he was to strengthen Joshua, and he was to encourage him. Now, how do you strengthen somebody? You don't just say to somebody, hey man, you're going to go over to the Jordan, you're going to cross over to the Jordan, you're going to be in the land of Israel. No, he had to do some spiritual work. And that spiritual work is what is talking about over here, to strengthen him. This is not the strengthening of just giving somebody 2 words of text, 2 lines of text and saying, get your horse and get up on the horse and take the people over. So Joshua was going to face major fight ahead with different areas within Israel that were different kingdoms at the time that were ruled by different kings. And they all had mighty, their little small garrisons and their small armies and militias. So Joshua had to do a little bit of fighting over here, to go out to war with certain people, to acquire the land. And those battles are recorded within the pages of the Torah. But what we find interesting is that, what does it mean, strengthen him and encourage him? So this is where some of the spiritual work is done. Now, why did God get Moses to go upward? You see, to the naked eye and to the ignorant masses out there, which there's a lot of ignorant masses out there, they will not have a clue what had just happened in this text. And they think, oh, you just told him to go up and look at the different directions. No, he was mapping the directions. God was instructing Moses to map the directions for the tribes of Israel and how the placement will be. And when we speak today, you will understand where I'm coming from. Hold this space. You're going to love this session because it's going to change your lives. So this is where we see Moses was actually told to map the 4 directions of the earth against the energies that come down from above and the energies that come down from below. Hence why he was put on the mountain over here. And then Moses, here writes in verse 29, so we abode in the valley over against Beth Peor. This is a town place, where they were residing before they were going to cross over the land into Israel. Chapter 4 speaks about, now therefore listen, O Israel, to the statutes and to the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and take over the land which Yahweh Elohim of your Ahavoth, which the God of Israel, the God of your forefathers, has given you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahweh your power. Now here, there are some commandments, there are some things that are not here written down. We are not, or if they are written down, they're written down in coded form that people don't understand it. And people think that, oh, everything is, black and white. It's not black and white. When the word statutes and judgments is used, there are many, many little things that are not even recorded. And they were communicated through nuances of words. And, you might say to somebody, let's take an example. An example would be that you say to somebody, you're at home, you're sitting with your spouse, with your wife, and you say, honey, could you get me my lunch, please? So your wife runs over to the kitchen and gets the dinner plate. But what about the water? What about the things that you need on the table? Salt, maybe pepper, maybe some, sauce. So again, the commandment, when you give the command, when you tell your wife to go get my lunch, you didn't tell her, hey, get my spices, get my salt, get my sauces. You just tell her, honey, get me my lunch. And she goes over, picks up your lunch and brings it. But she automatically knows that additional to the lunch, there are at least 4 or 5 items that need to be on the table. So she will automatically bring them. So here when the word commandment or statutes and judgments is used, it is not recorded as exactly what they are. But we understand that there are hidden commandments and there are those that are not so hidden, but within the words these things are specified. This is why everything becomes a little foggy sometimes, because when God gets Moses up into a mountain where, hey, go see the air, see if you got enough oxygen in your lungs. God is not sending Moses into the mountain to see if he can survive at the peak, so or have a beautiful view. What people's perspective today is what is the view like? It's it's a beautiful view, but he's not sent up to have a beautiful view either. So there are secrets in this Torah, in the first 5 books of Moses, that are not even explained properly. They're just spoken about, they are hinted at, but they're not explained. But today I will endeavor to give you a little bit explanation. So we're going to go into that a little bit, so that you're going to see how practical this stuff is, because this stuff matters, and this matters in the very homes you live. The very homes you live in, whether you live in America, North America, England, France, Germany, Australia, Pakistan, wherever you live. It doesn't matter where you live, because today you're going to learn some revolutionary things that we as Hebrews intrinsically knew and acted upon and didn't even think about it. There are things that we knew about, and there are things that we knew about, but we just took them as just things that we brought up with. Like, there was things that I was taught by my parents that was to me just a regular knowledge that came from my parents and from my forefathers, and they were just passed on to me, and I'll probably pass on to my children, and my children probably pass on to their children, etc., and it continues. But I never speak about it, because to me, right, if I speak this about to some Western people, they'll laugh and they'll make a joke and a cry about it. They'll say, oh, these people are superstitious, and why do they do this? But actually, nothing about superstition. You Missy, I think you need to switch your camera off, please. Your camera is trying to switch on. And so this is very, very pertinent, because this is why we don't speak about this, and we don't say to people, hey, my dad taught me this. So sometimes I may mention something in the passing, but I don't normally tell you everything that my family's passed on to me. So that a lot of the stuff is just passed on, and it's verbatim, and we just take it and we just apply it. And today I'll give you some of that stuff. So we see that because I see it within this particular chapter, that's why I thought it's relevant to this chapter as well. And it says that your eyes have seen what Yahweh did because of Baal Peor, for all the men that followed Baal Peor. And remember, we spoke about Baal Peor a couple of weeks back. It says Yahweh of power has destroyed them from among you, because they were doing very funny kind of worship at Baal Peor. But you did that remain trustworthy to Yahweh your power, and are alive every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me that you should do so in the land which you are about to enter and possess. Look, before you enter a land, there's a lot of things you have to do. It says, and you shall guard them and do them, for this is your wisdom. See where the word wisdom is used? It doesn't tell you what that means. What do you mean wisdom? It could mean 50,000 things. So this is where Moses is saying that you Hebrews, you know what to do. And it says, in your understanding in the sight of the nations, we shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. See, that just says it all. And today, where exactly are these, where are these statutes, judgments, or where is this wisdom that is spoken about over here? Many people don't even know what the heck that wisdom is. Forget about knowing it. They're completely lost on it. They don't even know what it is and what it means. So that is kind of rather sad state of affairs, because people discarded the Torah. They did not take it seriously, when they were dispersed. And therefore what happened, that because of our dispersion, a lot of this knowledge was lost to the people. Some of our people went into slavery, as you know, and others came out of slavery, and over a certain number of years they just completely lost out, and they didn't have the teachers that they needed, so therefore they didn't know what this all means. And then it says that in verse 7, for what nation is there so great, who has Elohim so close to them as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this Torah which I set before you this day? Only pay careful attention lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life, but teach them to your sons. See that right there, teach them to your sons and your sons' sons. So fortunately for me, I had a father who could actually teach me a few things. Or fortunately for me, he actually still remembered what his forefathers taught him. But maybe in your case, living in North America, you may not have been so fortunate, because I came out of the East, and I actually came out with all the frills and frails, frills and flares that the Torah actually talks about, which I just grew up with them. It's like a kid growing up in in maybe you might even say in a temple environment in the ancient times, because when you go back to the East, it's like stepping back 2,000 years ago. Honestly, it really is. When you step into the East, you step back. If you ever go to Israel, you will see it's like stepping back 2,000 years ago. The landmass, the people, the culture, everything in the Middle East is the same. It's like clock hasn't moved. And you suddenly feel, wow, I've come back into time. It's like going back into the future. So this is why I say to people, watch the movie Going Back into the Future, because this will teach you about visualization techniques of how you go forward and back, and it kind of helps you in that area if you like to do that kind of thing. But having said that, let me take you a step further and let me tell you what this means. And here, my students, wherever you are, all over the world, whoever you are, and some of you may not know who you are, I would encourage you to write into me, into my email address, and my email address is shimon63@yahoo.com. Some of you should know this, shimoun63@yahoo.com. That would be shimoun63@yahoo.com. I want you to all send me your date of births, because what I'm going to do is calculate your direction where you will find the most success in your lives, and I will tell you that by calculation of your date of birth. I won't be able to tell you without, there's not a single, it's not a formula where one doesn't fit all. Everybody's different. To give you an example, I did this 2 days ago with somebody. I won't name names over here. I did it with somebody, and I saw the change within 1 day of that person. I saw a change, and it was a remarkable change. I'm very observant of people, and so before that I didn't see that change, and then just by making that person follow the direction of their stars, everything reverted. You will find that when you do this, when you follow that direction, everything will change, and therefore you're good to go. Young fire for Jesus. I'm afraid that I'm not here to compare Torah with New Testament. So, if you want to learn that, I have there is a translation called the Abrahamic Faith Nazarene Study Scriptures. It's a full, complete Bible. I'll encourage you to buy it from Amazon, and I have translated it personally. And you can then look at both sides of the cover, front to back, and it will then take you through the things that need to be understood. I think that's the best place where you need to start. And because this is not an FAQ of how to do things, we are actually far ahead and far advanced, and you may be kind of just new and coming in. So I think I'll encourage you to do that first. KJV, absolutely, I encourage you to read the KJV as well, but the KJV doesn't have footnotes, doesn't have comments, doesn't have necessary markings that I have put in the translation I made. So your KJV is like a rifle with no bullets. It's useless. So that's why I encourage you to go get that. Having said that, I'd like to now take you to a little bit forward. Like I said, that there is a direction which I call your direction of success. When you write a goal for yourself, and you want to read that goal, and you want to bring that into your life, I would encourage you to read it in your success direction, in the direction where you're going to find the most success. When you're going to make calls for jobs, when you're going to make calls for business, you need to face that direction as well. Because if you're not, you're going to find success is going to be eluding you by about 33.33% against you. So it's very important that you understand that. Olivia, I didn't understand your question. Sorry about that. What do you mean by the mazal? Is it the mazal hakohen? I'm not sure what you mean by mazal. So let me just pull up some other. Yes, kind of. I think I do understand a little bit of what you're talking about, Olivia. I would say it's kind of, yes. We are kind of talking about that, but we are going very particular into not just the mazal, but more into it, more into it. We are honing in on it, basically, on the planetary side of your birth sign, because everything matters. Let me give you a simple example, very simple example of how you sleep. If you sleep in a certain direction every night, and you may be doing it, people do it out of, naturally, without even thinking about it. They just move into a new house, they place their bed where their bedroom is, and they just find a nice spot they can turn their bed in a particular area, and they sleep. But you may not know that you could actually kill yourself if you slept in a particular direction. Unknowingly, you could have the chances of your death accelerate tremendously, or you could have chances of life accelerate tremendously. So if you slept in the wrong area, let me give you an example. Let's say you slept in the wrong area a period of 4 years or 5 years, you will definitely get a stroke, or you will die from a heart attack. There's a definite against that in a particular direction. But then if you slept in a different direction, my goodness, your lifespan increases by 5 years. So that's very important to understand that. So what does that mean? That means this. Let me just give me a second, please. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a single. I might break and I'll come back. I'll give a link for the Bible in there. Okay, so let's put the link out. You can look at it at the end of the conversation lecture. There's no need to rush to it now. So, having said that, let me give you an example. A very simple example. I had a student, and I'll give a testimony as well for Yahweh. I had a student who wrote into me from the East. Now, this is a real case of somebody suffering from a possession. There is a Muslim woman in the East that is suffering from what we call a possession of a spirit. You might call it demonic possession. And so I actually had conversations yesterday with this, not directly with the lady, but indirectly through my student, acquiring information about her mother who is possessed. And when the possession comes, the spirit speaks, and the spirit tells the name, and the spirit says that we're going to take her with us, etc. So I told my student to do certain things, and we started from basic, because the man said these people went to a particular, I guess a magician, you can call it, a Christian magician. It's something he never heard of, but there's plenty of those in the East. So this was a Christian magician, and he said, he goes, I did this on this person because somebody paid him to do so. And he said that, they said, can you undo it? He said, I can't undo it. It's undoable. So the woman was left to distraught that it can't be undone, and the daughter was like, everything is in a mess. She said that we have no peace in our home. We have, she said that we have, when we go out, suddenly people start swearing for whatever reason. And she said, I lost my job. I'm trying to get married, and I can't find suitable, partners. And if I find a suitable spouse, the thing breaks up. And she said, all sorts of havoc. No, there's no blessing in our house. And this is a Muslim house, by the way. And so she said that, they took their mother to this Muslim cleric who put they do this weird things, right, they do over there. And they said they put a pencil between her fingers, and he was twisting the pencil in her fingers, and she was hurting. He was trying to make the manifestation of the demon. And the woman said that because I was so hurting with this pencil thing, like, being tortured, and she said, I just pretended that the demon has appeared. And I said, yeah, I'm present. And I just pretended, but nothing actually happened. He couldn't do nothing for me. So nothing happened for him. And so therefore, point being, she can go to 15 different Muslim clerics, or she can go to 20 different Christian pastors. They can't do nothing for her. They are absolutely useless in there. And here's the word again for you, young fire, useless. That's what they are, with their Bibles and everything else they have, and the Qur'ans. So I told him, I said, this is what you do. I gave him 2 things to do to start, and I said, the rest I will follow up with you as we go about. And I wouldn't waste my time with Rabbi Kefa with this person, because he's another one of those guys who wants something for nothing. So, don't worry about it. Let him be. So, these people don't know what they're actually acquiring. And so we see that I gave him 2 little things to do. I said, hey, you're going to do 2 things, and then I'm going to give you what else to do. And you tell that lady from me, give her a message from me. This is from the Kohen in the gate of Israel. And he said that nothing is impossible to be undone. This man that told you can't be undone is a liar. I will undo this thing for you, but you got to hold patience. So when he did those 2 things, he said that the manifestation hasn't appeared again. And she said there's more calm in the house and there's more peace. And I said there's more to follow. This is not the end. There is a lot more to do, because there is problems in the house. I said the whole thing started, because when I looked at it, I said the whole thing started with problems in the house. The house itself has problems. That's where it came out of. And so he said, okay, so I said it's not the person, it's the property. So he said, alright, so what do we do? I said we need to fix the property. When we fix the property, we'll fix the person as well. So we are actually now working to fix the property before we fix the person. So this is why I asked him, I said, how does this woman sleep? What is the direction of the bed? Where is the kitchen? And what is the direction of other placements of other objects in the house, other locations, the kitchen, the bathroom, other bits and pieces. And so he started to acquire that information and give it to me, and I said to him, okay, so this is where we see problems, and this is how we need to fix them. So we're kind of working, our whole scene has been worked to help this family. So in basic terms, I wanted to just, may have to go back and front. First I'm going to go to a very simple point, and I'll come back to this, this thing about this house as well. The human heart. People pick up one passage in the Bible and they make a whole story out of it. They pick up the passage in the book of Jeremiah and they say the heart is evil and sick and blah blah blah. They make up their whole little shebang, and it's just laughable how they come up with their little stories when it's not even talking about that. What we do know is this. What we do know is the heart itself as a organ is considered a selfish organ, because what the heart does, from I'm talking about from a modern point of view, not from an ancient point of view, but what the heart does is collects all the blood, it purifies it, and it keeps the best blood for itself. When it keeps the best blood for itself, then you might be tempted to think that the heart is selfish. But the heart is definitely not deceptive, by the way, because that's not what the book of Jeremiah is teaching you. That's just a Christian misunderstanding, where they get their misunderstanding, they make up their stupid mumbo jumbo from that. So, speaking about that, we understand that the heart is such an organ that purifies the blood and keeps the best blood for itself. But if the heart did not do that, it would not be able to oxygenate the other organs and the other parts of the body. So in order for the heart to make the body work, it has to do that. It must do that. It has to be selfish in order to have all the good blood than to push it out to the rest of the body. Do you know that if the heart didn't supply certain areas of the body, they will die? We all know that, because we watch so many scientific movies, and we watch, all sorts of shows that show us the anatomy of the body these days, and we learn from that. Now, coming back to the idea of sin, which is what Christianity had made a mumbo-jumbo out of this as well. In Psalm 51:5, it says, "Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me." So what Christianity came up with this is, man is born in sin. So they called it original sin. But there is no such thing. Muslims will fight the Christians tooth and nail, and they'll say that you're a bunch of idiots, you're a bunch of liars, there's no original sin. But actually Muslims are right. Because Jews don't teach that. You don't hear this from Judaism saying, we are born in sin. Because this is speaking about what I taught you in many more lectures before. If you remember, I spoke to you and I said, sinful or sin simply means that you have not hit the mark, which means you missed the mark, which is the Torah. So as a baby, how are you going to hit the mark as a baby? You're not even yet grown. So you have to grow, and then you're going to hit your mark. So of course, when you're born as a baby, you are at sin because you have not yet achieved your desires. You don't just get up out of your mother's womb and say, hey, I'm going to go do my pilot's job. You may have to grow up, go to university, college, learn how to fly a plane, and then you become a pilot. You don't become a doctor, you'll have to learn that before you become a doctor. It takes many years. So it is correct that here sinfulness is not talking about evilness. And unfortunately, the pastors have taken it the completely twisted way and turned it into something it's not. It's not talking about the sins of a baby in the sense of, he's born murderer, he's born a murderer, or he's born a killer, or he's born a rapist, or he's born a thief. There is nobody that's born a murderer, a thief, a rapist, or anything like that. These are choices that people make when they grow up. They're not born like that. So therefore, King David's psalm is not speaking about, hey, I was born a killer, hey, I was born a thief. So that's what Christianity does. It twists it and it applies it completely the wrong way. Rabbi Kefa is saying that it is the brain that is the last organ to cease from functioning after the heart stops. That's amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Rabbi Kefa. So we see that we, how religion, because God didn't give us a religion, God gave us a way of life. But religion has taken this to mean something completely different. And what Christians do, they take that and they will make you feel guilty. And they will make you feel fearful and shameful so that you can never rise up. Because then they'll make you subservient to who? The church, of course. The church doctrines. Because they'll tell you that, if you don't come before Jesus, you'll die in your sin, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And on it goes. So this is why you must understand that the agenda of the church is not to help you. It is actually to keep you in subjugation. And once you learn that, you probably never step into a church again. But having said that, that's the idea of sin, simply in the Torah and also in the New Testament as well, does not talk about your evilness. It actually talks about you missing the mark. And that's basically, you don't miss the mark, you hit the bullseye, you got the Torah. If you didn't get married, you were trying to get married and you weren't able to get married, that means you missed the mark. Now you're in sin basically. According to the Torah's definition, you're in sin, you missed the mark. You got married, you hit the Torah, you hit the bullseye, you got married, you're no longer in sin, you're righteous. See those two terms? They can be used like that, philosophically. That's how they're supposed to be used as well. So don't ever feel guilty and don't let yourself be into a state of negativity by thinking like that. Now, coming back is this, because I find some of the history, ancient history, very interesting, and modern history, is that, remember I told you to use the 108 beads to do your meditation session and to do the counting, And I didn't explain why, but I just said just do it. Okay, we'll do the explanations later another time. So the explanation is this: why 108 times? There are over 114 chakras in the body. Out of those over 114 chakras, there are 7 major chakras that we dealt with. There are many minor chakras. Now, there are at least 108 chakras that the body has that are common to the body. So this is why I said 108 beads. That's why we have the 108 beads. They represent the 108 chakras in the body. Also, they represent something else. We, from the earth to the moon, are a distance of times of 108. We, from the distance of the sun, are a distance of 108 times. So this is to remind us of how far we are from those two planets. So that's the 108 as well. Now, I was reading that the Himalayan mountains, of course, Himalayan mountains is where I came out of, that particular nation. So the Himalayan mountains, did you know that today they sit at 15,600 feet? They were not always that high. They're at 15,600 feet, and at one time they were actually at sea level. And you can find seashells over there at the mountain where the mountains are today. So where did these shells come from? And what's discovered is that at one point the Indian subcontinent was actually at sea level, so these mountains rose up later. Remember, maybe several years ago, I may have said this, that the Indian subcontinent was at one time joined with the Arabic side of things. Arab was one land before the flood, the great flood that happened that the Torah speaks about, which may have separated these continents and made us, a little bit further away from each other. So we know today from history that the Indian subcontinent is literally crashing into the Asian plates because of the pull of the north, and India is losing around 1.2 centimeter. I'm giving you a rough estimate. This is not the exact. Rough estimate, India is losing 1.2 centimeters every year, crashing into that landmass, and it's raising up. So that's where we are going with that side. Now, if you sleep in the wrong direction, your blood has iron, and if we are facing the north, Arctic north, by the way, is where the highest magnetic pull is of the earth. If you face the north, your blood will raise up to the north. It will kill you. It will bring you disaster. It can bring you stroke. It can bring you blood clot in your brain, because your iron will get pulled up and you can die from that, by the way. And we have so many cases today in hospitals of people having strokes. Out of the blue, they get strokes. But you know what? One of the reasons is you sleep in the wrong way, in the wrong side. Never ever sleep in the north. Get a compass. If you haven't got a compass, get a compass. And if you don't have a compass, you don't need it. Just look at where the sun comes out of. The sun comes out of the east and it settles in the west. You need to then work out where your north is. Make sure your bed is never placed, your head is never placed in the north. Ever do that. Write it down. For your families, teach your children, teach your children's children. Do not ever sleep in the north, because that can kill you. Number one, you will wake up with all sorts of problems if you sleep in the north. Number two, whenever you get up out of your bed, never get up left side of your bed. Don't ever roll over to the left. Always roll over to the right and get up first towards the right. Why? Because your left side is where your heart side is going to be, and you're going to stress your heart when you do that, and you may end up with, because scientifically they say that science has calculated that the best time to have a heart attack is first thing in the morning, 7:30. By the way, I saw a lecture in England a few years ago where they were saying that the majority of people that die from heart attacks, their heart attack occurs in bed in the mornings around 7:30 time. So that was kind of interesting to see. So be careful that you do not, roll over to your left side when you wake up. Always when you wake up, roll over a little bit to the right and then sit up for a little bit shake, maybe rub your hands, put it across your face, and then let your body function and wake up, and then you can, come off your bed to the left side. You can sleep on your right side, and you can sleep on your left side still, but you can turn right and left. That's okay. It's not so much of a problem. It's when you get up first thing in the morning is more of an issue, because your body is coming out of like rest. It needs to it needs to restart the whole system, and you want to make sure the system starts up in the right way. So, having said that, don't ever sleep facing your head in the north, because chances of dying from a stroke and hemorrhage increase dramatically, because of the Arctic North. There's a pull. Now remember, in the ancient times we worked out our calendar by the lunar cycle to know when the moon cycles were, and also we knew the solar cycles as well. Can I pray to the north? Well, you should be praying towards the east. The temple is in the east, not in the north, but you can pray towards the north, because the throne room of God is towards the north. So there are two different directions for depending what you want, etc. But normally from America you should be facing the east. So having said that, we go on to the next section, which is, this was the facing of your head. Now if you're in South America, and those of you who live in South America, you should never have your bed with the head facing south. Never in South America. Note for Australians, because I have some students in Australia, you should never put your head in the south, because you're asking to die early if you do that. So you should have your head the opposite way. In other words, you'll be fine in the north. You know why? Because your Arctic south faces your south. So be careful about that. So each country will vary for the north direction. So when I say don't sleep in the north, I am referring to majority of the countries. I'm not referring to Australia, not referring to South America, Latin America. I'm referring to North America, England, Europe, etc. But therefore you're unsafe to sleep in the north in those countries, because that's where the northern hemisphere will have the highest pull of the magnetic pull of the earth. But what you should do, if you have the north issue, if you know that you live in a country which has a north issue of the highest magnetic pull, then you do not put your head to the north, but you can put your head to the east or northeast, but never north. But you can put your head in the west. I would encourage you to put your head either in the west or in the east, and your legs then will go opposite end. So this will work. Now also, in order to rejuvenate your body, to give your body good nutrients, eat alive foods. When you eat alive foods, your body will do very well. If you eat a lot of dead food, then you will, then that will not give your body the correct nourishment. It will not allow your body to be raised. So Jesus raised his body from the dead, and but Jesus was eating alive food. And what is alive food? Well, you know what is alive food: fruits, vegetables that are not cooked. So that is alive food. But when we start to take, let's say we take vegetables, we cook them, really cook them, and they're still okay, not so bad. But if you just crunch on them, if they are uncooked, they might be better for your health than if you do the other way. So what would be a dead food? A dead food would be something like a flour. You bake it and you make something out of it, maybe bread or something, and you eat that. That would be kind of a dead food, because it will not give your body that nourishment to have that longevity. That's the only problem. Now the other thing is this, that now your homes, very important. There is a certain way, when we build our houses, there's a certain way that we do things. In our houses, we always make sure that a window opens into the north. Well, I mean, not quite north, because it would be depending on which country you're in. So I would say towards the temple. So we'd make sure a window opens towards the temple. So whichever country you're in, you have to calculate where Israel's direction is, where the temple is, and we'll open a window in that direction always. That's a policy of the Hebrews. So also there are certain things that we don't do, and some of you are already doing it ignorantly. Never place a cactus type plant inside your house. Never ever do that. A cactus type plant or a plant that weeps, they should be outside the house, not inside. They're very unauspicious. If you're building your house, your drawing room should always be facing the northeast. That is the best direction. And your highest wall in your house should be facing the southwest. If you have walls in the house, always southwest. Your bathroom, because you can calculate where your bathrooms are, your bathroom should always be in the southwest or south, never in the northeast and southeast, and never in those areas. A toilet should never be made in northeast and southeast. They're not good directions for making toilets, bathrooms. They're unauspicious. They do not have good vibes. And do not open the bathroom windows in the south side. That's another thing. That's why I said put a window in the north in the bathroom. So these are design decisions. I mean, most of you are going to buy your homes and you don't have control over it. But if you are building your home, you need to keep this in mind, that this is how you need to do things. Now, there is one other thing, is that the other thing that I was thinking about of what was the other thing that I was going to tell you about, which is very important? Yeah, colors. When you have your kitchen and you're doing your work in the kitchen, you're cooking and whatnot, you never paint your kitchen green, blue, black colors. They are unauspicious. They're not good colors to have. Never ever paint your kitchen green, blue, black. Write that down. Also, a lot of the ladies and a lot of the men who live alone, they may have a habit of leaving their dishes at night to wash in the morning when they get up because they are feeling lazy. Never ever do that. Very unauspicious. Because in the morning, when the sun rises, the first thing the light enters your home through the kitchen windows, bathroom and front windows. If there are dishes sitting with stinky food, dead food in the plates, it is very, very bad for your home. It's very unauspicious energetically. Don't ever do that. And remember that. Always wash your dishes at night, and then put them to wherever they need to put, and then go to bed. It's a bad omen. It's not a good thing to do that, and you should not be doing it. Even if you feel lazy, you should do it. You should clean up and then go and do whatever you need to do. So very, very important things. They might sound like little things, but they are very important things. I have mentioned this before, that you should be putting salt inside your house in a little pouch. The salt should be in a cabinet or under your bed. It should be somewhere there. And you should also take maybe a spoonful of salt and throw it in front of your door once a week, because it will remove negative energies. The salt will remove negative energies in your house, and the salt will also remove enemies. The front of the door will remove enemies. I encourage you always to put the mezuzah being the 10 commandments, on your door. All of your gates outside must have that. Why? Because there is power in that 10 commandments in the Hebrew. There is a power in there. That's why we put it up. It's a sign of a covenant with Israel, and it's powerful because of certain other principles that I'm not going to explain in this lecture. But because Joe Public is listening to this, and I'm not going to tell the Joe Public everything about what Israel does and why they do it. So these will be conversations that take place privately. So having said that, it's very important that you just do that. Don't ask questions why. Do it, because you're supposed to do that. Because that's a representative of our covenant, and it's a representative of our protection for our homes. And very important to keep evil spirits out as well, because evil spirits will not come into your home when they see that sign. If they don't see that sign, it's a take all. Anybody can come in. So it's important to do that. Now, what else? I think apart from that, I would say that it's important that there are other things that you do. Like, there's another thing that you do. Like how you place your desk. in your home? Where do you face? You see, when you have your desk, and I can only tell you, because I've been to Rabbi Kefa's home and Rabbi Zachariah's home. Rabbi Zachariah, I can tell you right away that your desk is facing the wrong way. So you may have to change your desk. It's facing a wall. The wrong way to face a desk is against a wall. Because, naturally we all tend to do this, but you should never do that. Your desk should never face a wall. Rabbi Kefa's desk, I think Rabbi Kefa uses, I'm not sure about Rabbi Kefa's upstairs desk, but I know his downstairs desk is fine, because it's facing a door. Your desk should always face a door. Wherever you sit, your desk should face a door, a doorway, not a wall. And the best direction for your desk would be that you face your success direction, which I will tell you when I get your date of birth. So let's say for me, my best direction is north. Then I would have to face sitting the north. And likewise, you will have to determine what your success direction is. Once I tell you what your success direction is, you should conveniently change your face towards that. Now if you find that there is a wall there, then the best thing to do is to face the door, because it will change the persona, the way your energy works and the way everything happens. But when you, like I said earlier, when you make calls, when you read out your goals loudly, you're sitting in your room by yourself and you're reading your goals, you must use your successful direction to bring in success to your lives, because it will raise up your what they call luck, or I should call it alignment. It will raise it up by 33.33%. 33.33%. Yeah, because I had Rabbi Kefa's date of birth handy with me. I'd written it down, and I told Rabbi Kefa that his best direction is southeast. So Rabbi Kefa will have to, do his little reading in the southeast, and the best faces, faces desk towards southeast, or at least try to sit on a doorway. If you can't face it southeast, must be by a doorway. Very, very critical to your success. I am telling you, it's so critical that I cannot, underestimate the importance of it. So make sure that you get that right. Because, when you make a call to an employer, your chances of success, generally, even if you've been doing your affirmations, will raise up by 33.33% to successfulness. If you did this, and if you didn't do it, they'll diminish by 33.33%. That means the universe is not in your favor by 33.33%. That's 1/3 successful chances. If you raise your success chances by 1/3, think how much powerful it becomes. I definitely think Rabbi Zachariah, because from what I remember in Texas, your doorway is kind of facing the other side, so you definitely will have to change your direction. But send me your date of birth and I can calculate your success direction. I don't know what that is right now. So we will do that at the after the class to my email. So having said that, have I made myself absolutely clear? Is there anything that you didn't understand, or I maybe spoke too fast? Please say so now, then I can help you with that. Okay, so super clear. Okay, great. So make sure that you're super clear on it, and make sure also one more thing, very, very critical. Make sure that your vision boards are placed in your successful direction. Do not place your vision board somewhere else, just on the side of the room, or wherever you feel there's a little space. Your vision board needs to stand, whether you put it on a little stand, in your success direction. Very important. And then when you put your goals on it, my goodness, it'll be like they're going to start coming to power, because they're in the correct direction. One more thing, there's a few more items. You see, we lose the people who come in here just for laughs and giggles. That's why I don't like to give those people information. Remember that earlier guy? See, he's left. He wasn't here to learn anything. He was only here to do his little rant that the people do. So I know when people come in with that kind of idea. So having said that, there's another three things you need to do. Be very super clear about this. I want you to get a little fountain. The fountain you can buy from Amazon, or there's a fountain stores, on Google. And yes, Simcha, vision board. Now the next bit, fountain. Get a little tabletop fountain. The water trickles down. They cost about $35. They start about $30 to $35, and you can even buy an inexpensive one. I actually got an inexpensive one at the local Lowe's stores, only $10. So you can even pick up one from $10 at Lowe's, and what you do is you face that in your vest. I'm not sure if Walmart has it, but you might want to look at Walmart as well. So your fountain, your little electric fountain that trickles water, put it in the west side of your home. It will bring in luck. It will bring in money, cash flow. So put it in there for this year. And then also, the second thing you do, you get yourself a golden bowl. Any bowl that's golden or has gold streaks in it, you can buy those from Amazon. I got mine from Amazon. You have those from Amazon, and then get some plastic gold coins, fake gold coins. Put those fake gold coins into the golden bowl, and put that bowl, guess which way? Put it to the east, towards our temple, and you will have, flow of money, good luck, and great positivity coming into your house. Do that. These two are very, very important. Then there's another one more. One more is that find the center of your house. You may have a little drawer, wardrobe, or a desk or something there. Get a stone like a bigger size, not a small teeny weeny one. Get a bleach size or a slightly bigger, and the two stones, you need to only place one of these stones, either one or the other. It could be a crystal quartz, maybe an obelisk, slightly bigger one, and if you get those, they're about 3-4 inches tall. You can be taller than that as well. Or an amethyst. Place that in the center of your house. That will energetically make your home auspicious, because you are trying to change your lives. So you start changing your homes first, and then you will start changing your lives also. Now your homes, what they may have, what's called what do they call it? Stresses, energy fault lines. Now that's another topic altogether. So I may just touch on it. Energy fault lines are lines in which if you slept in an energy, let's say if you placed your bed in an energy fault line, you are likely to reduce. This is a scientific study, by the way. If you're sleeping in an energy fault line, negative, we call it a negative zone, you will lose, let me see, what are the 3 elements that you will lose? Let's see, what was it? What was the study? Let me try to jog my memory back. Yeah. If you slept in an energy stress zone, you will lose calcium, selenium, and zinc. All 3 sleeping just for 10 minutes in a negative zone in your home. Now think to yourself, how many North Americans today, are taking vitamins? You call it vitamins, we call it vitamins. There's a difference between the I and the V and the Y. So the vitamins that you take because you're depleted, and you have to find those in your home. And again, it's not something that you're all going to be able to do. You might be able to. You have to get dowsing rods, and the dowsing rods will allow you to see where these zones are, and then we have to correct them, because they can cause all sorts of havoc. They can cause stress. They can cause fights with your spouses, negativity, discharge of energy. You feel energetically low. You get headaches all the time. You start getting bone problems, a lot of osteoporosis type problems, bones becoming weak. These all things happen because you're sleeping in a negative zone. Yep, it's like finding water. Exactly, Amicia. So we use those dowsing rods to find that. So something that I do in my spare time. So I don't normally talk about this too much. So again, this is something that needs to be, the homes need to be checked, and with dowsing rods, and then you can find negative zones in your home, and you have to make corrections in there in order to fix them up. So with that, I think that I've kind of given you some great information which will help you to fix your homes, fix your life, that you will be absolutely, you'll be supercharged once you do this. You'll be supercharged. So remember also from the visualization point of view, I want to emphasize this. When you do your visualization, make sure that you do always the end, not the beginning, not the middle. And give you an example. I'll give you a simple example. The end would be like, let's say that you want to have a car. You're desiring to have a car, and some of you might see yourself in the vision. You might see yourself in your visualization. Oh, I'm at the garage, paying for the car and something like that. Or even at the garage sitting in the car. That is, by the way, not the end. Do not do that, because that will take that manifestation a lot longer to occur. What the end would be in such a scenario would be that your car is parked in your house and you're having a conversation with somebody and saying that you're having a conversation with a friend and saying, I don't know, the friend's name is Tim. And you're saying to Tim phones you, and you speak with Tim, and Tim says, hey, Simon, how do you feel about your new car? I heard you got a new car for yourself. Yeah, Tim, I feel great. It's parked in the driveway. It drives great. So that will be the end, and a bit, add one more, element to it. In other words, make sure that the end is a little bit fast forward. This is why I encourage you to watch the movie Back to the Future. I highly encourage you to watch it, to learn how to go back and forth in the future and back. You're doing that with your imagination. Your imagination is creative. Your imagination will create the exact scene in your real world. Once you do that, once you do the fast forward thing, your imagination goes forward, because Jesus also said, I go to make mansions. Where? In the future. And then He comes back for you, right? So what does that mean? It's actually an illustration of our imagination going forward, building our future, and then coming back, and then we bring that future into our reality. So always forward. Like, what's a job? If you said, I want a new job, I want a great job. Okay, no problem. You can have a great job. What is the visualization for that? The visualization is not, hey, I'm sitting in an interview and giving a great interview. That's not the visualization. The visualization is that you actually are maybe 1 year into the job and you're working there, and you see yourself in the vision that you meet your manager, and the manager comes up and gives you a pay rise or gives you a bonus and says, well done, you did great work in this workplace, you're an asset. That is into the future, by the way. It's not in the future just sitting there and saying, oh, got the job, great. No, that's not the future. That may be like the future, that's a part of the future, but it's not the correct future. So encourage you highly, 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 watch the movie Back to the Future a few times, because you will understand what I mean by going back and forth, because he does that in the movie with the car. You're going to do that with your visualization in your mind, so you'll get experience with that. Okay, so don't have rubbish movies. Oh, they're no good. Oh, they're evil. Some of you do that kind of thing too. Don't look at movies that are negative, horror movies, those kind of movies. I discourage those, but do the right ones. I will help you. With that in mind, I'm going to say thank you for listening to me, and please, those of you who have not understood or need further application or information, you know what my email address is from the website, forever-israel.com, and I'm more than happy to help you, whether you belong to us or not. I'm always happy to help you. So have a great day. Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom. Over to you, Rabbi Kefa.
If I could be heard, can I get a one? Firstly, I would just like to give thanks to the Kohen. I'm so indebted and grateful for the instruction that we are receiving and will continue to receive as Israel. I think it's pertinent that you do take heed to the instruction if you want to continue to have some kind of semblance of a wonderful life as you may see it. How many of you understand that you're living life, that you're how many of you really understand life? Do you really have an understanding of life? This question came to my mind these past 6 days of labor because I've been truly busy with life, and I'm super happy to be busy with life, just like all of you are. You know, a lot of times we explain away life as just, you know what I've noticed this past 6 days of labor in my study of human nature is that a lot of people really have a disrespect towards life. Do you understand what I'm saying? And maybe a lot of you are noticing this as well, is that there's not an appreciation for life. And it's not that they don't say that they don't think. A lot of people will say, oh, I love life, but yet you see in their actions and in their presentation of how they go about, living their life that, they totally disrespect it. Some of you may have family members, friends, and loved ones that are just like this. They say that they love life and they appreciate life, but they really disrespect life. You see, they really disrespect life and really don't really have an appreciation and show gratitude for being able, like Hakonim taught us, to be able to get up in the morning, to roll out of your bed the right side, and to really have a focus and and to really just have a respect for being able to get out of bed in the morning. And being able to converse with your family members, your wife, your children, your co-workers, your mother and your father. All of these things are superseded by nonsense, things that are not important. Most people wake up in the morning and the first thing they're concerned about is, oh, I got to pay this bill, or oh, they're going to foreclose on this home that I'm in right now. And your thought process is on negativity. This is why it's so very important that you do get instruction. And if you know from our parsha, from our rich history as Hebrews, descendants of the Hebrews, is that in this parsha here that we see in Deuteronomy chapter 4, is that Israel is always led by someone. I want you to see this. There's an order that's in place, and that order is not broken. God's order has not been broken. But God's order, unfortunately, for the most of this world, has been superseded by man's agenda, by man's tradition, you see. And a lot of people hold weight on the man tradition side, you see. Janice said, Shalom, Rabbi Kefa, what way should I face when I'm studying? Well, Yajan, you're going to have to turn in your birthday to the Kohen. You're going to have to get instruction. When you find your success way, there's a way for your success. Mine is southeast. Chadasha for that again, by the way. Your success direction will be based on your date of birth. Turn that into the Kohen. You face everything. That's which way you should study, is your success direction. That's going to be important. So for all of you, if you didn't hear before, you come in a little late, make sure you give HaKohen, send them an email to shimon63@yahoo.com so that your birthday, you give them your birthday. My goodness, 10. You cannot be born in the year, 1071. You going back to the future. Yeah, I know that was a typo because I don't think you was born in the year 1071. you okay, good, because you definitely taking it back to the future. Hey, if you could do that, book a ship. Thank you to the universe. But yeah, okay, Tada. Yeah, that was a good joke, yeah, Jan. I know you made several people laugh right now, including myself, up to top of that. Yeah, I'm like, my goodness, 1071. Okay, we need to sit down and have a talk. But yeah, good stuff indeed. Good stuff indeed. So what you want to do is, what you want to do, give the Kohen your birthday, send it to him via email, and what he'll do is he'll do the necessary calculation, and then he'll send you an email with your success direction. And so yeah, you want to study in that direction as well. As you note with life, everything has a rhyme and a reason and a purpose behind it. Now, how deep we understand that purpose is going to be based on what Hakohi said in his lecture. Is, are you willing to do it? Can you be like our forefathers, the Hebrews, and say, we will do, we will hear. We would just do it, just like the Nike slogan. We would just do it. We would do, we would hear. We would do, we would hear. And you just do it without hearing what you're supposed to do. And a lot of people cannot hack that part. They have to know why they're doing something before they'll do it. Anybody know any person like that? You study human nature, you'll find them all around you. People that will not just do something. And I can remember as a child, I used to be the same way until I got corrected, the rod of correction by my father a few times. Then I understood. When your father would tell you to do something, how many of you would say, well, why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I? I mean, and children, when you're children, you don't have to. There's nothing wrong with asking why. But you'll get to a point in your life where you'll say, if your father tells you to do something, you just do it with complete trust that your father is not telling you to do something that's going to be detrimental to you. You understand what I'm saying? And the same premise, I'm going to put this with the son of Aaron. The son of Aaron is not telling you to do stuff just because it's some kind of, religious circus like religions. I mean, they get you in the circus, man, and they'll have you doing all kind of things. He's telling you to do something to benefit your lives. But you have to you all have your faith in God, but many of you don't have faith in the Kohen. And I don't mean you in this room, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't have faith in the son of Aaron. Faith in, HaKohen. I'm telling you, when you put all your faith in HaKohen, you'll see your life change. But a lot of you'll say this, I have faith in God, but you don't have faith in HaKohen. Simon Altep. You don't have faith in him. Look, I'm just going to lay it out like HaKohen said. I'm going to get to the nitty-gritty here. You don't have faith in them. And so nothing around you is functioning like you want it to because you don't have faith. Just like the Master Yeshua from my tribe, by the way, the tribe of Judah said, Jesus of Nazareth, he said, oh, you of little faith. Where is your faith? But everybody up and down the block, you can ask anybody on the street. You'll say, do you have faith in God? Oh, yes, I have faith in God. But I don't want to talk about every Joe Blog on the streets. I want to talk about the folks in the family. That's on the family. My father used to watch that Christian guy. What was that guy's name? He had a show, and it was called Focus on the Family. Well, he used to watch that, so I remember that. But focusing on the family is very important. And so for you to focus on the family, you have to have faith in your leadership. And that's what Moses was preparing Israel for. Look, there's going to be a leadership change. I'm a firm believer. Yeah, Dobson, Dr. James Dobson. That was that woman of the 10. Back in my Christian stint and coming up with my father, we used to always watch that. Listen to it. Oh, focus on the family. What we talk about tonight? But it's very, very important that you understand this. Mishpah, so-called family. You run up and down the block calling everybody family in the room, but yet you don't want to take heed. And you're wondering why there's nothing happening in your life. And you're wondering why after getting all of this instruction and these valuable, this is like golden gems, golden tokens that I only talked about. These are the real life spiritual tokens that are golden. And if you begin to apply the instruction, some of this stuff, like we're finding out now. Oh, yeah, the why part we get now, but we already been doing it. How many of you are in that category? HaKohen has told me something, and I'm just doing it. I don't understand why, and you don't need to. Just do it. 108 beats. Just do it. Now you understanding why. Because the connection to life is not just about the four walls of your house, as you're beginning to understand. You're connected to more. You're connected to everything that has atoms because you're atoms. You see? You're connected to the universe, to the sun, and to the moon. Yeah, you watch these shows on TV, and they'll tell you either the sun is bad or the moon is evil. Oh, when the moon comes out, that's evil because that's when the vampires come out, and that's when that Dracula movie, Dracula, oh, he sleeps during the day, but he only comes out at night, blah, 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 blah. Come out of the Hollywood wink mentality, or come out of the religious hoodwinking and being bamboozled by religion. That just like HaKohen says, it's oppressing you, it's keeping you down. Kept me down, but I didn't stay down. How many of you know that slogan? What happens when you get knocked down? America, I tell you, America, and I tell you, I noted this week too that America, that a lot of these states in America, they're going back and putting in God we trust, you're putting it back in school. And I think that's valuable and important because America was founded on the foundation of God. God first. With the God premise. With the understanding that they knew of God. You see? That those people knew God. And Yachir, you could probably tell me since you was 1071, you probably have a better understanding of the premise of the people during that time. 1071. Thank you very much. But no, with the understanding that they have of a supreme power, you see, of an existence outside of themselves, of source energy. Call him God. And you wonder why America is so great today. Because they put God first. In God we put our trust. I'm telling you today, not only do you need to put your trust in God, but you need to put your trust in the God-mandated human beings that have been put on this earth to assist us. How many of you, put up a capital A, have been assisted by the son of Aaron, Hakonim, Simon Alcat? Anybody? You've been assisted. You've been assisted, and you continue to be assisted, and you are assisted now. Thank you very much for your responses, by the way. This is why I'm telling you, I may not be talking to everybody in this room, but I may be talking to some people in this room, especially some listening via YouTube. It's very important that you get the leadership factor right. Moses, this chapter in his life was getting ready to finish. I wrote some things down. Let me go to my notes real quick here. Think of various things that the Mbokma has imparted upon me. Thank you, Mbokma, for the wisdom. You see, because where my lecture is going today is based on this point right here. We must understand bend, but not break. That's very important that we understand that. You going through life, as all of you said so eloquently, and thank you for your responses, by the way, if you're understanding that you are living right now life. You're living life as they know it. You're existing now here on this earth. You've been given dominion by supreme power over this earth that's spinning around, rotating around the sun, in a solar system, in space, in galaxies, with Milky Ways and black holes, all these beautiful things. I went to Sam's the other day with the wife, with Sam and the daughter, family. And you know how they have the displays of all the TVs. You go into these stores and they'll display all these new TVs, and they'll be showing particular shows or sports or just whatever. Different channels will be on there, so you can get a visualization of how the functionality of these super smart TVs, right? And believe me, they're coming out with some super smart stuff there. My goodness, there's a lot of tech being thrown into TVs now. Out of TVs in every aspect of our life, there's a lot of technology. I'm noticing that with baby items that you can purchase. I mean, there's a camera that you can put on your baby, and the camera it'll show the breasts of the baby. I was like, that's amazing. It's not hooked up to any. It just shows you the breast of the baby, so it can tell you, and it alerts you. I was like, wow, the technology is like crazy. It is super, super awesome. Put tech in cars, as you know. My friend was complaining. How many of you you have cars with a lot of tech in them right now? How many of you? I'm even seeing movies where, well, maybe you don't have cars with tech, but let me just explain. I was watching this movie the other day where they had this incident, and this man was trying to get to this place, but he was driving a car with a lot of tech, and somebody hacked into his car and was able to make the car go over a ravine and crash into this ravine and into this water, and the guy had no control over his own car. I was like, wow, what are they trying to show us here? What are they trying to tell us here behind the scenes? What is Hollywood trying to show us? And Hakomin is right. There's a lot of movies that can teach you a lot of things that's beneficial to you. tech is good, but just like anything else in life, you have to be careful. You don't want too much tech. How many of you like to be able to take control over your car? Because my friend was talking to me the other day, he's driving a BMW. He was like, man, I'm in my car and I'm having an argument with my car. I'm talking to my car. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, well, I'm trying to turn this way, but my car, because of the navigation thingy that's on it, it's telling me to go straight. But I'm telling my car I want to turn this way and exit on this exit, but the car won't let me. And so he's sitting there telling the car, look, I know how to drive. And I'm like, my goodness. So he's having conversations with his car because his car's telling him to stay straight. Now, some instances this tech is good because what it does is, if you just so happen to want to doze off, the car automatically brings you right back into alignment. And it can detect the distance of the next car in front of you and behind you. So he said, in my BMW, when I put on my cruise control, I can literally do something else. Because the car, he said the car even stops at stop signs and knows when the light turns green because of the sensors in the car, and it'll just go. So he says basically the car is a driverless car. But again, when he goes to try to take the control back, yeah, look, Rabbi Zakar is telling me the car, and the car specialist here in our family, he's telling us that indeed it's called lane departure. So it's like, my goodness. So he said basically I can just sit in the car, take my hands off the wheel, and the car will just do everything on its own, and it's being done. Now, I don't get any kind of kickbacks from BMW for saying this. Matter of fact, I'm really not a BMW lover anyway, but this is what my friend is driving. Full disclosure. I don't have a BMW in my garage, or what my wife calls the car house. Which is, yeah, a good analogy. The car house. House for your car. We call it the garage. Potato, right? But, getting back to the point, we have to balance everything out and not have too much technology to where your car can get hacked. Somebody, because I was thinking, I was like, if your BMW could do that, somebody could hack into your BMW, make it wreck into a bunch of people that's on the sidewalk, you're in the car, and guess who's at fault for, maiming and maybe even killing a whole bunch of people because you driving your BMW and the car took over. Somebody took over and went over and rammed in a whole bunch of people. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute, Mr. Mahal. So when you look at technology, it's a beautiful thing, but technology, it's up to a point, so you have to be able to balance it out. Because yes, I love technology, but listen, I want to be in control. How many of you in this room want to be in control? I want to be in control. Listen, when it comes to my finances, I want to be in control. You see, I don't want to be like most people on Wall Street and say, listen, I'm going to blame you because the market crashed, we went into a recession, and you lost all my money. How does that sound? That sounds like somebody who is not prepared. How are you going to let somebody else be? Do you know a lot of people died last time we had that crash because they couldn't hit. They lost all of their savings. All of their life savings was just lost behind somebody else being in control over their money. Now listen, if I was in control of my money, I lost my money, guess what? I can stand up as a man and say, I lost my money, that's on me. Now, let's brush that off. We fell down, now let's get back up and keep it moving. Right? Opposed to saying, oh man, that man lost all my money over there. I trusted that man. I put my faith in that man. That man told me he was going to make me billions or zillions of dollars, and now, I can't make $1 out of 15 cents. And so you point the finger at this company, this hedge fund manager, blah, 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 blah. So we must be very, very careful. You always want to be in control, Mishpah. You want to be in control. Don't take the reins, and that's what the son of Aaron is teaching you. Moses was teaching it to our Hebrew ancestors as well. Is you got to be in control with the proper what? You must have the proper commands. Now, my friend was telling me, man, I was like, well, is there not a shut-off button on your BMW to where you can shut off the tech, take control of your car, do what you want to do, and not what your car's telling you you have to do? See, many people right now, when you take this and you bring it into religions and you bring it into life itself, many people are doing that same thing right now. They're in cruise control. Somebody else with tech is taking over, and they just allowing other people to drive their car. Oh, your pastor said there's a heaven, so there's a heaven, and I can't wait to get to heaven. Somebody else is driving their car. You understand what I'm saying? That's the analogy. Somebody else is taking over the wheel. Somebody else is taking control. I want complete control. Because when I stand before Source Energy, when I stand before the Master Yeshua, I'm not going to be there with a Hakohim. I'm not going to be there with my beautiful wife. I'm not going to be there with Pharaoh, my dog. I'm going to have to stand on my own 2 feet. And be held accountable for what did I do? Based on what? What instruction did I get? Now listen, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with having mentors. How many of you in this room have mentors? You should have more than one, and I'm saying mentors plural, but you should have more than one. Mentors, they're very, very important. You must have mentors. Now they're to teach you and guide you and give you the necessary information that you need to process and to put into practice for yourself. You see? And just like our queen talked about the heart, oh, we really need to understand and stop with that understanding on the heart, by the way, Hakoin. That was brilliant. As most people want to shun the heart, yeah, it has to take on more because the heart has the most responsibility in the body. Out of all your organs, which organ do you think has the most responsibility? You see, I give you the answer before I give you the question. Wow, that's good stuff. Think about it. So, to much is given, much is required. Ooh, have we heard that before? Much responsibility is given. I mean, much functionality is given to the heart. So you better pay close attention to it. It better get fed first. Hey, when you look at the animal kingdom, who gets to eat? And hey, I'm a lion, baby. And my little Lion King is coming in a minute. My little Simba. But I'm a lion. Anybody ever watched I love watching National Geographic, man. I'm just a big fan. But anybody ever watch National Geographic? You ever see the lions after the lionesses make these kills? The lionesses, and sometimes they can be in a pack, and there can be 5 or 6 lionesses taking down one of them big old oxen, one of those big old zebras, or whatever they taking down. Who's the first to go eat? Think about antelope. Yeah, I like to see them catch them antelopes. Who's the first to go eat? Who did all the work, and who's the first to go eat? And our queen is absolutely right. Just like he told you, you need to go after the, you go after the organ meats, and you go after the lively foods. These are the best foods for you. And here comes the lion. He's the first one to come. He gets first dibs, as they say. He'll come in, he'll get first dibs. And he goes right for the organs. Don't mean to get graphic for a minute. For some of you, this may be a little bit grotesque. But to me, I find it very interesting how they do that. He'll go in, take out what he wants, and then you'll see the lionesses, they'll maybe get a leg, so you get a leg here, a leg there. They take what they want, then the hyenas come in. It's a beautiful system to set up. Circle of life, baby, because that's just what it is. Animal kingdom. Now, imagine that. Now, let's take that into the human being kingdom. You see? And we as Israel, imagine this. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it from the modern side of what our ancient forefather, the greatest of all, I call him the GOAT, Moses, Moshe, Musa. How did he say it? I'm going to read it how he said it in Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 8. And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this Torah which I set before you this day? Now I'm taking that and I'm saying, what human being species on the face of this earth is so great to where we get the first dibs? Right now, what you're getting from the son of Aaron, what we're getting the first dibs. We're not getting the scraps. We're not getting a leg here, a leg there. We're the first to eat at the table. How many of you believe that? And I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I'm just stating the facts. We're the children of Israel, family. You should be getting first plate. You should be getting organ meat. You should be getting the best of the best. And you are now. Think about that for a minute. Out of all the human beings on the face of this earth, think about that for a minute. Yes, pump your chest out. You should be proud of that. While Christianity will tell you, with their downplay and downtrodden theology, oh, it's not good to be proud, brother. Don't be proud. You should be proud of that. Is that you, put it humbly speaking, is that you get first dibs. You're getting information from the son of Aaron that most people will never get in their life. How many of you agree with that? They will never scratch the surface, and they'll go to church until the cows come home. Maybe they'll go to church 6-7 days out of the week. You're getting first dibs. You're getting the best of the best. The best of the best information, best instruction. What are you doing with it? And you should see it materializing in your life now, not for later. Because Christianity will tell you that. I wrote some things down. Let me read them real quick. What nation is there so great as our forefather Moses put it? The greatest of all teachers, the greatest of all rabbis, the greatest of all priests, the high priest. He was the greatest, in my opinion. You see, because a lot of people, right? You see, Moses, what he did in this portion, what he did throughout all of his tutelage as the greatest teacher, was he was preparing Israel for the beginning. Not the end. How many of you, and I wrote this down, because it brought it to my attention, end versus beginning, and open versus closed. How many of you believe there's an end to anything? Because that's what they tell you after every Hollywood movie, the end, the end, the end, the end, the end. How many of you believe in an end and a beginning? I don't, by the way. Just full disclosure. I don't believe in an end and a beginning. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's an end to anything, but you could always begin something. You see? Now, I do believe in this premise, that there's an open and a close. How many of you understand what I'm saying? I believe in that there's an open and a close. You see? There's a certain time things will be open in your life, and then there's a certain time things in areas in your life, things will be closed. You're always opening and closing. Those angels on both sides of you. And believe me, Hakeem, oh man. Maybe one day you'll open up the angel side of things because that stuff is awesome. You see? But what you need to understand is that your books will be opened and closed. You don't have an ending book and a beginning book. You see? Because before our books were written down, our books were. Before the Master Yeshua was written down in our books, in our history, he was. You understand what I'm saying? Brukashil. So many people can come and extract things out of the Bible and blah, 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 just like you learned it from the son of Aaron. It's like, yeah, they can take it and they can twist it and they can put man's mythology on it, but what does it mean at the end of the day? You see? And start casting judgment, as you see right here on point. You know, you start casting judgment and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Because what's false in the whole thing is they've been given a false understanding. They only been in the room 2 seconds and they're already passing judgment. You see where I'm going with that? Prime example. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. They get any better than that. But 2 seconds in the room, boom, casting judgment. Oh, I'm a false prophet. Well, I don't claim that, and I don't receive that. And I don't raise myself up to be nobody's prophet, so that's definitely not me. So do you understand, Mishpahah? And that's the mindset you're going to get with human beings on the face of this earth as you come in contact with people around you all the time. Because you're living life. You all told me, yes, I am living a life. Now, you got to understand in your life is you got to be willing to go through these phases in life. You see, because you listen on YouTube and they'll be quick to tell you the world is coming to an end. That's consensus. They'll tell you this. The world is going to come to an end. How many of you believe that the world is going to end? See, this is why I don't get that beginning and end mumbo jumbo. Because we're always just evolving. But they tell you, how many of you heard it? If you don't believe it, but you at least heard it, the world is going to come to an end. The world is going to come to an end. Or I like to watch that cartoon, Chicken Little. He ran around saying, oh, what? The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Because something hit him on the head. Piece of UFO hit him on the head. Oh, the sky is falling. So he kept running and telling people. And one, hey, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. I got to sound the alarm. No, you don't, Chicken Little. But they'll tell you the world is coming to an end. No. The end of there's a shift. There's a close of this phase and an opening of this phase. How many of you had some closure in some part of your lives already as you're living life? You've had some closure and you had some openings. Anybody besides myself? But I haven't had no endings and no beginnings, you see. No, there's phases we all go through. There's openings in part of our lives, and then there's closings. And the dimension of how long these doors stay open and closed, I mean, that's relative, right? That's relative. And Moses is explaining this to the Hebrews as well. He said, listen, you guys are getting ready to cross over to the Jordan. I'm going to prepare you. And when I can't prepare you, guess what? Here's who's going to be the next person that's going to prepare you and lead you and guide you. Because this part of my life is now closed. Now, whilst another part will be open. Because, I don't know if you heard, but the Kohen said that he can talk to Moses. And he had talked to Moses, he talked to Aaron. He talked to him. So what does that mean? They haven't ended, by the way. And I firmly believe that. Because I have faith in the Kohen. I know the Kohen's not going to tell me some foolish mumbo jumbo to give me goosebumps. But I want stuff, and he has given me stuff to teach me how to live this life. And not only to live this life, but to live this life in an infinite of abundance way. How many of you are in agreement with me? And Abraham, you're right, Gael 110. I don't want to leave our forefather Abraham out. And this is what's very important, Mishpahah. Our Kohen is not here to lie to you. And a lot of folks come through here with the lie mentality, the lie chip on their shoulder. Because they've been lied to so much, I can't blame them. And they have skepticism based on the lie chip that's on their shoulder. Oh, he lied to me, this person lied to me, my wife lied to me, even my dog lied to me, everybody's lying to me. So you come in here not with lying kings, but with lying kings. Because you just lie. That's been your life. You need to close that chapter and open up a new chapter and have a new mindset. But many people can't do that. They're not willing to close some chapters in their life, and they're leaving these areas open, and it's affecting them to where they can't get on with an infinite abundance of a life on the face of this earth. And then they have a disrespect towards life when you don't do that. And you don't have appreciation for the great gift of life. Because I truly appreciate it. And as I see my son in this room, this life in my wife's womb, I'm like, wow, this is just beautiful. Life is beautiful. And I'm starting to open up a newer appreciation for life. As I've been a product and a participator in bringing forth life. as a father. That's all you fathers in the room. You know where I'm at. And now I'm right there with you, Brook Hashem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Universes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mother. You all understand it with me this day? Hang on. Hang on. Yes, you trust God. And God we trust. But do you, God you trust, but do you trust in the Kohen? That's what I'm going to talk about this day. Everybody's, I trust God. As soon as the Kohen tell you to do something, well, why I got to do it? Blah, 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 complaining and complaining. Just do it. And you'll know if you trust the Kohen because you'll see a physical presentation, manifestation of it. Trust in him. Got these dollar bills, American dollar bills. I don't know if it says that on any of the British bills, but does it say is there any reference to God? Hey, you know what? That's a great Google moment. What currencies have any reference to God on them besides our country? Any other currency? I'm a currency trader, but I love that. I am an awesome currency trader, by the way, as well. But is there any other currencies out there that have any reference to God on them? Anybody? Can anybody tell me that? Wow, that'd be good to know. That's a good fun fact. Any other currencies have reference to God, to a supreme power on the currency? Wow. And you wonder why America is great and will always be great and is the super power. Let me ask my wife real quick. Honey, the Chinese money, yuan, they have Chinese name on this money? Chinese name on Chinese money. Yuan money. We'll have Chinese name on the money? Chinese, yes. Name? No. Yeah, on money, on Chinese money. No, yeah. Don't have. No. Yeah, she told me how much she told, but don't. It doesn't have any reference to God on the Chinese money currency. Any Oliver, you're in France. Does the French currency, does it have any reference to God on it? Oliver, in France, you're in the room. I know you're in France. Any other takers? Anybody been in all these different countries? Have you seen on their currency any kind of acknowledgement of a source energy, God? Look at this. I mean, wow, this is pretty helpful because this is way off of my nose. What is that telling you? Wow. American currency has it. Yeah, and even on the coins too as well. I got some pennies over here, some nickels and quarters. The trust in God. And you wonder why the Kohen is in North America now? Just another reason. So happily and humble say thank you to the God of the universes. I mean, these are fun facts, but facts at the end of the day, not fiction. You see, everything has a purpose behind it. Whether you understand that purpose or not, how much understanding you're going to be given about that depends on you. Not on God, not on the universe. Depends on you and what are you willing to do. You and what you are willing to do. Wow. Are you willing to listen and put trust in the son of Aaron? Because if you're not, you can leave, and I don't have no problem with that. You can go by your business and keep tasting from all these other many waters, many bitter waters out here that's going to still leave you in confusion, and you're dibbling, dabbling here and there and everywhere, and you're wondering why you can't make rhyme out of reason. You're wondering why. And you look at your life and you're like, I don't like my life. I don't like where I'm at. Well, you have the ability to change it. Quit trying to blame it on everybody else like Wall Street does. Oh, I gave you my money and you lost it. Oh, you did it. Now I'm broke. Busted and disgusted. Don't have $1 out of 15 cents. Because you. And I'm telling you to take back and bring everything back and focus on yourselves, family members. Because I tell you, the rest of humanity out there, as you study humanity, you know, I know this is about the Joneses. Let me tell you about the Joneses for a minute. If your last name is Jones, no offense. But the Joneses, they concern themselves with they now, and they take responsibility for themselves. They want them $3.5, million house. They take that responsibility for themselves to get that. Learn from the Joneses for a minute. They don't spend all their time in Sunday church. No, they out here getting what they want, and they're taking full responsibility. Working hard, whatever they have to do to get it. Scratching tooth and nail to get what they want now. The Joneses don't talk to you about heaven because their heaven is right now. Learn from the Joneses while you're over there judging them. Too busy judging them, pointing them down, finding deficiencies in their life. You're judging them by what standard? Your standard? Where's your standard got them? Look what the Joneses have and look what you have. And you want what the Joneses have. And you're mad at God because God's not giving you what the Joneses have. But you say, God, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do. Are you? Based on what standard? On what teacher? On what leadership? On what principles? On the commandments that, let's face it, the majority of the world still don't understand. They can quote you something out of the Bible like Cody talked about. They'll pull a verse and extract a verse out of the Bible, out of our rich history. Well, what does that mean at the end of the day? When they're leading you down a detour direction, and they're taking you off of the path. You see, just like we talked about that BMW my friend has. You sit there and he's arguing with the BMW, blah, blah, and fussing because he has no control. He has no control. The car has taken control over his journey, over his direction, from getting from point A to point B. You must take the control back. Don't blame it on tech. You take control back. Oh, but the pastor sounds so nice. Oh, but he has such a loving family. How many of you, when you go to buy a car, you only look at the car on the outside? How about the car? You ever seen somebody? Well, you fixing the cars. But have you noticed somebody, they go buy a car and they only look at the exterior? Oh, wow. They never kick the tires. They never open the hood. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even touch a car like that. I'm trying to take that car to my mechanic and get it inspected even before I buy it. Or make sure I got some kind of pre-owned warranty behind it. Think about that for a minute. But when it comes to our life, we just look at what's shiny on the outside. How many of you have been guilty of that at one time or another? In one of the closures of the areas in your life? I can say I have. Because I look at the shininess just on the outside. Ooh, that woman looks just like J-Lo. Ooh, woo. I'm just looking at it on the outside. Oh, man, long hair, beautiful, look just like J-Lo. Got the big butt and the smile. I'm just looking at the exterior. Never open the trunk. Never open the trunk. Never open the hood and looking at the engine, Rabbi. The car never did that. Boy, was that a disaster for me. But I learned from it. Baruch Hashem. You can't just look at the exterior, Mishpachah. A lot of you may have done it as well. You just don't want to own up to it. But that's okay. That's okay. But you don't forget these experiences. Learn from them. And that's what Moses was telling the children of Israel. Don't forget all of these things that you've been through on your journey. When people were trying to take control over your vehicle, tech came in and tried to tell you where you're going to go. But for those that trusted and stayed steadfast, there's a reward for you. And that reward is not heaven. The reward is now. It's for you right now. Baruch Hashem. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the university. We're the children of Israel. We sit at the table first. We get first plate. We're not getting the scraps. We're not the hyenas in the National Geographic sense. to where, oh, you're just picking up whatever just scrapped off after the lionesses get their part and after the whole pride takes and moves on somewhere else, then the hyenas will come in. Some of the hyenas will get bold. You see on that in geographic? They'll get bold how to come in while the lion and the lionesses are still trying to eat. And that's kind of detrimental to their lives. You know what I mean? They end up getting a few battle wounds behind trying to do that because they're overpowered by pride. Now, the pride, they're just about their business. You got the lion and his lionesses, they're just about their business, man. They're trying to eat, maintain, sustain the family, and keep it moving. You notice a pride never stays in one place. They're always moving. And they're moving where the food goes. If the antelopes, I think it was a luxury class thing, so he talked about the antelopes. The antelopes don't stay in one place, so they have to go and move where the food source is. Goodness. Learn from the lion kingdom. You can learn a lot from the animal kingdom, more importantly the lion kingdom. I'm a fan of the lion kingdom. I'm also now studying the eagles and how the eagle family operates. Because you're eagles, Israel, you fly high. So you need to understand the eagle. What does the eagle do? Think about that for a minute as well. Study it. Learn from it, Mishpahah. While you go through this life. Don't just idle go through it on cruise control. Because sometimes when you go through life on cruise control, people will take advantage of you. They can come in, and you trying to go this direction, and things will go that direction. You see? You're trying to go this way, but they take you that way. And they're telling you to shut your mouth and just go this way. Because consensus says this is right. Notice, when Moses beginning to pass the mantle, as he's getting ready to close this part of his life, notice that in our, let's just say, pattern, the God of Israel is say, okay, get all the tribes together, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a consensus vote, and whoever raises their hand, whoever gets the most hand raises count, that will be selected as the new leader. That's going to lead Israel into the land, across the Jordan. Notice that didn't happen. Notice that the God of Israel didn't say to Master Yahweh, he didn't say, okay, Moses, I want you to, get with all the leaders of the tribes, and you tell them all to, who you need a consensus, and we need to ask all the people who should be the next leader for Israel. Because no, I want you to understand this is very important that you do understand this, is that Israel always had a leader. Israel did not look to God, they looked to Moses. Israel always had a physical man to look at for instruction, for guidance, for direction, for life. Wow. Do you all see that? I know you have, you Torah scholars. Did you see that? Israel always had leadership, a leader. Israel, after Moses took his last breath on this earth and went to be with his fathers, Israel didn't run around like a bunch of loose chickens. Oh, I'm going to go do this. We're going to go do this. We're going to do this. Oh, yeah, we're going to go here and do this. Blah, 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 blah. The foundation wasn't broken when Moses passed on to the next life. The foundation wasn't broken. And that's why you must, as students of Torah, study these patterns. And you're not going to understand all of it. And this is where the Kohen comes in. And I'm not telling you to try to understand all of it. Because, and you look at today's consensus, everybody's trying to overstand. There's not a week that doesn't go by that we don't get a phone call, somebody, and they talk to me this way. Yeah, Rabbi, I'm trying to overstand what you mean. I'm trying to overstand and over. I'm like, what the heck is this overstand stuff, man? And I'm saying that to myself, like, what is this overstand? Overstand. See, they pick up something and they just run with it. You see, they let tech come in and drive their vehicle for them. And they just repeat like parents, oh, you should overstand. Oh, well, all the traffic is going this way, so your car is going to pull you this way, and you're going to go this way. And you're going to be happy with it, and you're not going to complain. Oh, I'm trying to overstand and overstand and overstand and overstand and overstand. Get all that mumbo-jumbo, man. So it's very, very important that you're required to understand everything, but you are required to do what's right in God's sight. And God is not going to give you a memo. How many of you have been praying to God and God actually talked to you? He's going to come through the Kohen majority of the time. You're going to hear God through the son of Aaron, through Rabbi Simon HaKohen. That's how you, majority you're going to hear God through that. Now, you might hear God through your angels. Sometime it'll be through your angels. But maybe your angels won't talk to you, but they'll do things in different ways because they have different ways of communicating. Did you know that? Learn that from the Kohen. Still learning. Love the area, the angel angle. That I'm telling you. When he starts to teach y'all that, it's going to blow y'all away. Maybe he'll never teach y'all that. I don't know. But I do know that if you show loyalty, loyalty will come back to you. If you show trust, trust will come back to you. But you got to execute and do trust. And you got to act loyalty. You just can't say it. It just doesn't work that way, Mishpah. Now, students of nature, don't let people tell you things. How many of you have been hoodwinked and bamboozled by what people tell you? And then they do something totally opposite. And you're like, wow, but you told me you was going to do that. You told me you loved me. You told me you was going to do this. And you didn't do it. I see many children hurt that way these days. Well, my dad said he was going to do that for me, and he didn't do it. Man, that sticks with a child. Well, my dad promised that we was going to go eat some ice cream today after he get off work. My dad came home from work, and he went to sleep. And by the time he woke up, the ice cream parlor was closed, and I didn't get no ice cream. Oh, my dad said he was taking me to Walmart, and he was going to give me that toy when he got home, and he didn't do it. How many of you know what I'm talking about? So don't just say stuff, do it. Teaching that to my daughter. Because, you know, I understand. Women like, how many women in the room? Is there any women? Put up a capital W if there's any women in the room. Because I got a question for the women. I got a very, very important question for the women in the room. I respect you women so much, man. I've opened up a new chapter of respect for a woman now that I've seen my wife carry my son for 9 months. And I have such a respect that I never had before. It's to another level. And I thank the university for that. Okay, the women in the room. I have 1, 2, 3, about 4 women in the room. About you that did respond. You woman in the room. Okay, here's the question I have for the women in the room. How many of you women in the room like to be told you're loved or I love you? Any women? I just want to hear from the women, not the men. If you like to be told, I love you. I love you. See, I'm finding that out that women, they like to be told that. But what I'm teaching my daughter even further is don't just let a man tell you that. Let them show you that they. See, that's the next step. A lot of times we get hoodwinked and bamboozled just so, oh, baby, I love you. And before you know it, I mean, you know, you're at the courthouse, you know, saying I do, just because somebody said I love you. And men, I know this has probably melted some of you as well. Am I correct, men? Is that a woman said that she loved you, and then it just melted you? They had you at love, and before you know it, you coming out of your wallet with all kind of money, and you showering them with all these things, and blah, blah, blah. And then come to find out, you know, that they also told 3 other men that they loved them too. You know what I mean? I mean, you know that situation. So you're not the only one that they selectively love. They also love many other men as well. You know what I mean? So don't be hoodwinked and bamboozled by this love thing. Let them show you their love by their actions of what they do. That's what's important. And I gave my daughter just this little example yesterday. Great. Here in San Antonio, we've been 103, 105. With the heat bulb index, it's been like 115 for the last 2 weeks or so. It's been super hot here. San Antonio, the heat is on, baby. I love that. But it was super hot. And so my daughter, she's wearing glasses now. Rabbi Zakari says there too, up in the Dallas area. She's wearing glasses. Way to go pick up some glasses that she got prescribed for some glasses. And I had given her this visualization. I didn't even, but I said, I want to teach you the power of your mind. I asked her, I said, when do you want your glasses? Because she kept saying, Dad, I want my glasses. Where are my glasses, Dad? I want my glasses. Hey, Dad, can I get my glasses today? I said, you can get your glasses when you're ready. But I said, let me teach you something. I said, when do you want your glasses? Tell me when you want your glasses. She said, I want my glasses on this day. I said, well, give me a date. She gave me a date. I think it was the 14th. She said, I want my glasses to come in on the 14th. I said, is that what you really want? I said, now you got to believe that you want your glasses on that day. I said, but you got to believe it. And she said, yeah, I want my glasses on the 14th. And I said, let me teach you something. And I said, I'm going to tell you when your glasses are going to come. I'm going to tell you when your glasses are going to come. And I said, your glasses are going to come on the 16th of this month. That's when you're going to get your glasses. And this was like this was like on the 10th we're talking about this or something like this. And sure enough, on the 16th, which was yesterday, they called us, hey, your daughter's glasses are ready. And I had forgot all about it, but my daughter, she remembered the lesson. And I said, I'm going to show you how powerful your mind is and how powerful you are and you can be now. And she was like, wow, Dad. She would look at the camera, she was like, Dad, today's the 16th, and my glasses are here. I said, then she said, Dad, you were right. You were like, oh no. And then of course here comes skepticism. Oh no, they called you beforehand or they gave you an email. I said, no, they didn't. You see, we water down the power that we have by trying to explain it away by some other thing. The minute that happened. But believe me, her ears perked up. She's like, wow. I said, your mind is powerful. Same way I'm telling her about love. Because she likes to say, Dad, I love you. Dad, I love you. Dad, I love you. I said, baby girl, don't tell me you love me. Just show me. Show me that you love me. Well, how do I do that? By being responsible. By doing what I tell you to do. And not asking why. You just do it because you trust me. You're doing it because I'm telling you to do it. How many of you heard that from your father before? You asked why, he said, because I said so. How many of you got that before? Probably none of you never got to the why part. You probably, because you had already a high appreciation and respect for your father. So you never had to get to that point with why. Why don't you have that high appreciation and respect for your father and the Kohen, Rabbi Simon out there? Well, you don't have to know the why. You just do it. Why you can't get there, Miss Bahal? So-called family. But you're totally disrespecting your father by asking why. Just do it and watch the results come in. Because they will. My daughter saw it firsthand. My Dad, my glasses are here on the 16th. Now here's the lesson of love behind that. I said that and told it to her. I explained it to her on the way. I was like, listen, in the journey over to get the glasses, I was like, listen. It's midday. It's 106 degrees outside. Your mother is pregnant with our son and your brother. And I'm taking you to get these glasses at this time. Traffic is off the charts because it's Friday. Everybody's on the highway. And we're going to get your glasses on this day. Why? Not because you need them. You're wearing contacts now. But because I love you. And she was like, wow. She's like, yeah, Dad, I see what you mean. I said, because we don't have to go get your glasses on this day. We can wait till it's cooler. We can wait at nighttime, blah, 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 blah. I said, no, we go and get your glasses right now because I love you. So do you see? You don't say love, you show love. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying it. Oh, I love you, I love you. Because like you heard from the consensus of the women in this room, they like to be told they're loved. How many of you married men in this room, put up a capital L if it's you, you tell your wife, I love you many times in a day. Anybody in this room do that? And I bet you your wife appreciates that. She likes to be told. Here's a lesson for some of you that's courting and dating. Tell your wife that you love her. But then, when you do that, that's just the beginning of the book. Then you got to show the love to your wife. Because that's the next phase. You see what I mean? And Love can come in many kind of ways of showing, but you must do that. It's not just about saying it, because that's superficial. Saying it is putting it in the air. Doing it is putting it into action. That's what the Yehovah. Saying it is putting it in the air, but doing it is the action behind it. So you understand why doing is so powerful? Why is Nike one of the best companies around town? Anybody got stock in Nike? You better get it. It's good stock to hold. Because of the power of those words of just doing it. Doing has power. Why do you think Nike's so successful? Because they understand the power of do. That slogan has power to it. Just do it. Take heed. Take it to your head. Take it to your heart. All you have to do is just do what the son of Aaron is telling you to do. Why does Israel want to follow other leadership outside of Israel? I don't know. Outside of what's mandated for the children of, for the children of Israel. I don't understand that. You see, you already took one step forward and 15 back. The one step forward was, okay, yeah, I'm going to do. The 15 back is you're not doing who are the mandated teachers of Israel commanded you to do. What instruction are you getting? And where are you getting it from? That's important. That's the 15 back. If you're not getting it from the sons of Aaron, and we have one in our gate, then, you're taking 15 steps back. And then you wonder why am I not manifesting anything? Why are my dreams, why is my vision board not being ticked off? You should be ticking things off that vision board. Ticking them off, ticking them off, ticking them off. Some of your visions may be long-term, but some of them can happen now. And even your long-term can happen now. You should be ticking them off, ticking them off, ticking them off. That's very, very important. And if you're not seeing that, Mishpahah, then you may want to go back and take a consultation from the descendants of Aaron. You may want to go back to the Kohen and get some consultation, so one-on-one. You see, this forum, you're just putting it in the air. Oh, Mishpahah, Mishpahah. But I want you to put it into action. That's the one-on-one with the son of Aaron. And believe me, he's no respecter of person. You send him an email, you'll get some one-on-one time. It may come in the form, sometimes it may come in the form of a direct call, sometimes it may come in the form of an email, but you'll get that one-on-one time. You'll get it. That one-on-one, which is very, very important. You see? One-on-one time is very, very important. Communication is key. When there's broken communication, there can be no key. Again, that's on the important. When there's broken communication, there can be no key. Luxury Guy said, what is your opinion on John Hagee? John Hagee is John Hagee. I have no opinion on John Hagee. Being a former member of his church, he's a pastor of a church. And that's just what he does. He's a Christian, and he's a pastor of church. That's what he does. And that's what he does. But I'm pastoring my own family. I have you see what I mean, luxury class? I don't have an opinion on that. You see? That was one of the stages in my life that was closed. I learned from it because I'm thinking about now. I learned from those stages, those closed stages in my life, gained a lot of experience. I know what doesn't work, luxury class. That's one of the biggest things that I gained from that, is I understand what doesn't work. So for those of you who come out of these religions, you understand what doesn't work, right? You have a high appreciation now for what works. You see what I mean? In that aspect, I thank Hagee and his church. You see what I mean? I really, really do. Rabbi Zachariah says Hagee does what what he has understanding to do. That's a great way to put it. Well said, Rabbi Zachariah. You see? Yes. Yeah, he's here in San Antonio. He's a member of his church. And so I appreciate my time there. I don't sit here and complain, oh, why, God, did you have to take so long? You made me go through all these non-denominational churches and all this mumbo-jumbo. You made me go through catechism and being Catholic. Why? Why you do all that? You see? That's a child asking why. When why is irrelevant. What my father's telling me to do now is just do it. Not him directly, but he's telling me through his messengers. Through the go-betweeners between the heavens and the universes, you see? And that's what's important. Okay, luxury class, we'll give you the mic. When the lecture's finished, believe me, we'll make some space for you for sure. You see, what's pertinent now is the doing now. Must do now. That's very important. You should be doing now. You can ask questions later. That's the pattern of our forefathers. That's why they had this awesome experience that Moses talks about. And he reminds the children, he reminds the Hebrews in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 8. And what nation is there so great? There is none. What would you say here that Moses say, oh, well, Moses, you should be more humble here. You shouldn't be all haughty with this. Moses is not being haughty. He's stating the fact. The fact of that time and the fact of now. What other nation is there that's so great? And all of you need to poke your chest out as well and say, that's right. Because we're a nation of doing. And we're doing what's right in the sight of God. Because we have a fundamental principle and pattern of a way of life that beats anything out there smoking. Anything out there alive this day. And our way of life, everybody has taken from it. I don't care who you are. They've taken from our way of life and then, made their changes to it. But everybody has pulled from our way of life. Let's face it. You can look at every system out there and they have pulled something from our books, from our history. Haven't they? Something. Tidbit, tadbit, something. But guess what? We have it all. All at our disposal. Do we don't use it all right now? No, we don't. But what we do know how to use, with the instruction given to us by the Son of Aaron, you should put it to use. It will be to your benefit to put it to use, and be to your detriment not to follow the instruction. Benefit and detriment. That'd be a great lecture title. You see, because the thing about our way of life is that when you understand that you can bend, but you don't break. That's Torah. Torah bends. How many of you understand the bending part of the Torah? Torah will bend, and bend some more, but it won't break. Religion will tell you got to break. That's it. You got to break. You break, and that's all it is to it. No, Torah bends. How many of you seen the flexibility of the Torah in your life? Torah is so broad. It's so flexible, yet it doesn't break. How many of you are so free within the Torah right now? You've never been this free in your life. It's just like the guy that came in earlier. I was like, man, come on, man, freedom isn't free. Oh, he goes and looks at the Abrahamic Faith Bible. Oh, that Bible, that just costs too much money. I was thinking to myself, I bet this man spent way that 10 times over on a pair of Nike shoes. That tell him to just go do it. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. And one way or another, you've been freed. You understand the flexibility of the Torah and how it can bend. And you think it can't bend and it keeps bending for you. Like, wow, I can do this under the parameters of the Torah. Absolutely, Torah's free. But you've been told just the opposite. You've been taught just the opposite. That God breaks, He doesn't bend. That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. That you've gone to hell, God He breaks. He don't bend. You going to hell. Who said that? That's what they're teaching you. And they're coming here, you're a false prophet. Oh my goodness. Well, brother, so-called brother. You kidding me? I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. I'm not going to give energy. I'm not going to give frequency and vibration to, the falseness that's out here. False understanding, misunderstanding, and everything that comes with it in the suitcase. I'm not taking that voyage, Mr. Bahar, because I'm too excited about living life now. Every moment on earth, you are shaping your life now. I'm going to say that again, because that came to me this morning from the M. Hokmah. Every moment on this earth, on earth now, you are shaping your life now. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. Understanding, bend and not break is so very important. Because what we're being taught by the Kohen is teaching us that, wow, Torah really is flexible. And there's a lot to Torah that I'm just like today. Our Kohen's lecture, my goodness, when you're on the surface, you can't see what's beneath. Think about what I just said. When you're on the surface, you cannot see what's beneath. But when you take it below, then you can see what's beneath, and you take it even further and further. You see the Kohen keeps giving us more understanding. He's not trying to understand none of that. He's trying to give you more understanding, more understanding, more understanding. Look at your life and stay in the present. Open some areas of your life, close others. Open some areas of your life, close others. Don't begin it and end it. You see, because sometimes you're going to have to go back and refer to it. So you're going to need to reopen it again. You see, to get you through it. And that's what Moses was telling the children of Israel. Torah is all that you need. And some. And a bag of chips with a soda and a 5-piece from Popeyes. Torah is all that you need and want, because it can get you what you want, give you what you need, give you the happiness that you desire, give you the peace that you want, aspire, give you the love that you want to give out. Moses was preparing Israel for the beginning, not for an ending, but for the beginning. And the beginning is now. You see, we say we must look back to know what's going to happen in the future, but to know and assist our lives, not in the future, but to know and assist our lives now, because now is the future. How many of you want Torah today for the future? No, you want Torah today for now, because you're driving that new car now, and you're visualizing you're driving that new car right now. But that's in the future. But no, but the future is now. And that's what the Kohen was teaching you in his lecture in a nutshell. He's telling you the future is now. So when you go to that bank and you're asking that teller in the first person to talk for that, Kohen, yeah, Betty, how much money? How you doing? How your family? Yeah, we good. Yeah, we good. We're great. I'm glad to hear your family's doing well. I just wanted to check our account. Check my account balance. Yeah. You have about $1 billion, $500,000 in the bank. Thank you, Betty. I hope you have a nice day. You put that in the now, but then when I wake up, or I come out of my visualization session, I still got bills and blah blah blah. You see where your focus is? Just like my daughter. Glasses came in on the 16th. Oh no, they told you in the email, blah blah blah. They already told you they would come to ahead of time, blah blah blah. I did know ahead of time because I went back to the future. Do you get it? The future is now. So I took the future And according to this right, I thought about what he was saying. You know, you take the future and you bring it to the now. Make the future now. Our rich history is not for us in the future, but should be embraced to assist and help and learn from now in our lives. Torah is now. We're not waiting for the Master Yeshua to return. Torah is right now. Beautiful, isn't it? The Master Yeshua is here right now. Jesus of Nazareth is here right now. He never left or forsook you because he's with you right now. You just have to open him up. He's already in you. He's that gift that keeps on giving. But we got to dig within ourselves, that subconscious, and open it up. Live in a conscious way. And all of you are on that path. You're on that path now. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So you don't have time to be judgmental. You don't have time to put other folks down. You don't have time for that. I'm restricting you just on your name alone, sir or ma'am. You're welcome to stay, but you're going to need to give yourself a more positive name, because I'm not going to read that kind of statement. You got to be more positive with yourself. It's just very, very important that we understand that, Mishpah. Within yourself, take control. A lot of you responded, yeah, Rabbi, you need to take control. Take control with you see, you don't want to take control, become a loose chicken. You want to control the pattern and under the parameters, under the policies of the creator of the universe, and this great law that we have, the Torah, that many people talk about. They put Torah in the wind, but they never put Torah into action. Action side of putting Torah. They put Torah in the air, but they never put Torah into action. And that's what you see in religion after religion, and anybody that picks up our rich history, our Bible, that's our books. That's what they do, because they don't understand it. I don't understand it, but I do what the Kohen tells me to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm telling you, I'm the benefaction, the beneficiary for it, and my family is as well, and my sons and my sons' sons will be as well, because I'm going to teach them this. My father never taught me this. He taught me love by action for sure, because my father always worked hard so that I can have the things that I need. So thus requiring him to work hard is not to be around the family. Couldn't be around because why? He was out taking care of the family. He wasn't being a sinner. Oh, your father's a sinner because he's never there for you. My father was always there for me because out working and providing for his family. That makes him a righteous man in the eyes of God, not in the eyes of man. My father's a very righteous man. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You couldn't have your father with you every day, but your father, he showed you love. He may have never told you he loved you, but he showed you he loved you 10 times over. Because he took care of the family. He put a roof over your head, food on the table, clothes on your gluteus maximus, clothes on your buttocks. But Rabbi, my father never told me he loved you, but he showed you he loved you 10 times over. Hashem. And I have mad respect and honor for fathers that are of that makeup, because they don't give you these false promises. They don't just put love in the wind. They don't put love in the air. They put love into action. You put love action. You don't put trust in the air. You put trust into the action. Trust the Kohen, and you will go far. In action, not in word. This is where a lot of you are stumbling and fumbling, and you sit there and you pray to God. God, why isn't my life changing? It's because you haven't went back to our forever practices, forever Israel. To our forever practices. They're forever. What is it that's blocking you from putting total trust into the son of Aaron? What is it? What's the block? Because that's what you need to deal with. And that's not pointing the finger at nobody else. You got to look within yourself and deal with that. If you don't know how to deal with it, that's when you got to go to the son of Aaron, HaKohen, Simon Altaf, to get instruction that's going to be beneficial to you. Moshe goes on to say, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 9, only pay only pay careful attention, lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, unless they depart from your heart all the days of your life. But teach them to your sons and your sons' sons. Didn't we just talk about that? Moses said that very same thing. I got this from Moses. This is in my DNA. Because I am the Torah and the Torah is me. We are one. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God of Israel. See, I'm going to put that in the air, but I'm also going to put it into action. See, Torah, when you understand, bending but not break, oh my, your lives are going to be so much freer. But you get to you have conversations with the Kohen, you hear him teach, and you're like, wow, I'm waiting for the breaking moment. There is no breaking moment. There's only bend. There's flexibility for you, Mishpah. Torah's so flexible. You can't understand it, but the Kohen does. And he'll help you open that eye. You need that third eye to be open. You need the eye of the Torah to be open so that you can understand how flexible and bendable the Torah is. But we put ourselves under self-restraint. It's like you take handcuffs and you handcuff yourself. You shackle yourself. No, there's got to be a breaking moment. There's got to be there is no break. You keep opening and closing, opening and closing. Flexible, flexible. You see the freedom of the Torah. You live in the freedom of the Torah. You are free. You are whole. You are complete. You are infinite abundant. Wow. But when you're still in the mind control, the mind will come and play those tricks on you. Oh, wait a minute. That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. All this magic, blah, blah, blah. This is how, you're still a center chicken dinner, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff. Throw it out. That's the mind. But when you get this into your subconscious, you begin to meditate on these words. You begin to visualize what you want. You begin to know that awesome power that you have within you. Then you become unstoppable. Nobody can stop you but you. Mishpah. I'll say that again. Nobody can stop you but you. You can be your best friend or you can be your worst enemy. Do you understand that this day? I hope you do. You, Y-O-U, because you got to get within that. And that's a beautiful thing when you begin to understand you. And that you are living this wonderful gift of life, and you have appreciation for life, you have appreciation for the 3 P's that our Kohen talks about. People, plants, and persons. Wait, people, plant, and pets. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. It really is. It's a beautiful thing. And you can get beyond the color barrier. A lot of people are hung up on color, so yeah, that's one of the barriers that's keeping them out of a blessings and abundance. Because, it's got to be this color. No, it doesn't. What's a part of our covenant with the Creator of the heavens and the universes? Is that he would not do another flood on the light flood that he initially did, and he based that upon a what? A rainbow. Now, how many colors are in the rainbow? 1. I submit to you not. Learn from the rainbow. How many of you love rainbows? I'm a rainbow lover. And I look for rainbows. Beautiful sign that we have. How fortunate are we? How lucky are we, Mishpah? How lucky are we? But you got to put yourself in the now, not in the later category. Religion is later. Everything is later. But what about now? And I'm a big fan of now or later. The now or later. Can't have anything about now or later. Boy, I used to eat those things all the time. I used to go to 7-Eleven, and that's when the 7-Eleven used to have video game little room in there. I used to play Pac-Man and eat now or laters. After I finished cutting the grass, I would reward myself. I would get a little money from cutting the grass, and I'd go right to the 7-Eleven, give me some now laters, and play Pac-Man in 7-Eleven. I love now later candy, but my desire is to live my life now opposed to later. Many human beings lift up the later concept. You see, this is the now later saga, you see. And you have to be very careful and guard yourself against this point. Is that a lot of times you got to look at this when you're assessing and you're analyzing yourself. You don't want to put yourself in the later category. And later comes, oh, well, in the future, but the later can also be the past. Is that you live in the future or you live in the past, but you don't live present in the now. It's very important that you catch yourself. Because you're going to find yourself wanting to drift. You see? They may not come out and say it, but you can definitely see it in what they say and how they say it. When it comes to the now or later saga, even what you say and how you say it now. Again, you got to be careful, because a lot of times you are being your worst enemy instead of your best friend. So you are keeping self down. Self meaning the subconscious and being conscious. It's the you that are keeping that down. You're suppressing it, and you're oppressing that part of your life. And you see, that's wrong to do. You see, it's very, very wrong to do. You don't want to do that. Because you want to nurture self. You here in this room this day is to nurture yourself. Look at the title of this room. Look at the title of this room. What does the title of this room say? The title of this room says, Empower Yourself. That's what the title of this room says. That's what you have to look at. That's what's important. Is you want to empower yourself. Not self, your. Do you see that? You want to empower yourself. Do you all get that? That's beautiful when you get it. I just now got it. You want to power you, but the self that's in you, that's the subconscious self. Thus making you conscious. While a lot of folks want to walk around unconscious, walk around with chips on their shoulder, walk around with emotional issues. And then they want to blur out at you, and they want to be keyboard warriors, and they want to get on keyboard and spew out all kind of hatred, or they want to get on the phone, or they want to go and start gossip and blah, blah. There's no time for all that. Because you're too busy empowering self. Empower yourself with the words of Jesus Yeshua. That's important. This is the framework or the foundation for having an abundance of a life. And Moses, he began to lay this out time and time again for the Hebrews before they crossed over the Jordan. This is what you're going to have to do. These are the instructions. This is who we're leaving in charge. That's it. Well, what about consensus, Rabbi? Don't need it. You see, because leadership was thrown, not just thrown in the air, but leadership was in action. So you know why Yeshua, Joshua, why did he get old, Miss Bob? That's asked and answered, right? It's because of his doing, his action, what was rewarded. You doing what the Son of Aaron tell you to do is going to be rewarded. I'm telling you, you're going to get rewarded for it, and you're going to see the rewards now. How many of you have seen the rewards now from listening to Hakohin, son of Aaron? Any instruction that he's giving you, you will already start to see rewards. I'm going to put up a capital R because I've seen many, and they continue to keep coming. So why would I want to leave that? I'm not trying to leave that. I'm going to continue to do the same thing. Rinse and repeat it. We talked about those all words last about. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Don't concern yourself with the why. If the why comes later, that's great. Give me the why. But all you have to do is train and put yourself in the mindset of just being a doer. Our books talk about being a doer of the word. Of the words of who? Of the words of the Kohen. Many people say they're doers of the words of Jesus. Where has that gotten them? Think about that for a minute. I used to be a big doer of the words of Jesus. But it never got me anywhere, Ms. Bahar. Luxury class. I was a big doer of the words of Jesus in Hagee's church. Never got me anywhere. I'm still scratching my head like, wow, there's got to be more to life than this. That's what I was telling myself, luxury class. I'm over here in Hagee's church being a doer of the word of Jesus. So it wasn't, the formula was wrong. Because I received instruction on the Hebrew books from a Catholic pastor, a Christian pastor. Do you see the break? Now, that's break. You see, we talked about, understanding bend but not break, but that's where the break was. But when I began to get the instruction of the Torah of Moses, the words of Jesus, from who? From the sons of Aaron, that's when I got the bridge. Like a bridge over troubled water. Goodness! And that was the bridge, Miss Bahar. That was the bridge. That was the bond that brought me back to know who I am, who is self, who is within me. Shabbat Shalom to you, Paige. That was the key that opened up my kingdom. I didn't have to wait on the kingdom to come. I'm not waiting on the kingdom to come in the future. My kingdom is now. Think about that for a minute. Why are we going to wait for heaven? Heaven is now. You see? Ruach Hashem. Thank you, Master Jesus of Nazareth. He said He never leave us or forsake us. I believe Him. But we must go back. Just like Jesus said, just as Master Yeshua said, we must go back to the laws of Moses as our foundation. If we consider ourselves profound. Now, if you don't, then keep it moving. I respect that. I respect that. We're in a big world. And not everybody can get first dibs. Not everybody's going to get first choice cut. Think about that. I mean, that's just the facts. And not everybody wants organ meat. And not everybody wants to eat it. Or some people don't like, or they like a chicken wing, or a thigh, or the hind quarter. They're cool with that. And so be it. And so be it, Miss Bahar. And so we leave them to it. So we're not here to be judgmental about toward anyone. Let them live their lives just like Rabbi Zakari talked about, at the level of understanding that they have. Let them live their life. If they're happy doing it, hey, more power to you. Be happy. You're more righteous being happy than you are being a hater. You understand that premise? You put yourself in the more right category just by being happy. If Hagee makes you happy, go to Hagee's church every time he's open. And I'm like, hey, I'm clapping for you and you're a cheerleader. Yeah, go do it, man. Just do what makes you happy. Some people are happy being, let's just say, noticing a lot of people are happy being tormented. They find happiness in that. Tormented coming in. I'm not talking about somebody strapping you up to a pole and beating on you, but they're happy being tormented with their finances and relationships. They're happy in that aspect. I have a lot of women friends because I'm in the nursing field, and they're being abused by their husbands, but they still stay with their husband because they're happy with that. I'm like, okay, if that makes you happy. Some of the abuse is physical. Some of it is, a lot of it is emotional, mental abuse. But abuse can come in many forms, and they're happy with that. They say, "Oh, we have the best relationship," and I'm looking at them again. What you put in the air versus what you put in action. They say, "Oh, I love that man," and I'm looking at this woman with a black eye, Hakolim. But she said, "Oh, I love that man, and I'm super happy," and I'm like, Okay. I'm like, okay. If you happy with that, hey, roll with it. You guys have many years of happiness together. So, again, that's what you deal with. That's what you deal with, Mishpahah. So I'm going to close and leave it open for luxury class. You're still here, luxury class? We're going to give you the mic. I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you all have a great, 6 days of labor ahead, and enjoy the Shabbat with your family and your friends ones, and just remember the flexibility. When you understand that bend and not break, that's going to make your life so much beautiful, so beautiful. So over to you, luxury class. I'm going to give you the mic now. You take over with your question. Anybody else? If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask your questions at this time.
Looks like luxury class hasn't heard. Luxury class, you're gonna pick up the mic, or you're gonna continue. Okay, we're just gonna close. I think luxury class probably hasn't heard, or maybe he's walked away. So we're going to close, and you all have a great Shabbat and great week ahead. Until next time, follow the instructions and you all do well. Hashem Yahweh, take care of yourselves. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.